changes. No matter what we think, no matter what we do, we have to go with the flow because changes are happening all the time. And as much as sometimes I don't want to, I realize that I have to. And so today I thought I'll talk to you about some of the things I've had to change in my life and maybe give you some ideas that maybe some of the things you want to change in your life. I'm Denise. Welcome to Travels in My Chair. We have been having the most incredibly mild weather on the Sunshine Coast. And I've mentioned before that all my plants outside, which should have died way back in November, have all been thriving. And now they're saying at the end of January we might get some snow. And I'm very sad about my plants. I don't want them to die, but you know, changes, right? Start by talking a little bit about New Year's. We had an all-girls spa night. My 9-year-old granddaughter had suggested, we should have an all-girls spa night, Grandma. And she'd heard me talking about with my girlfriends, you know, we do all-girl shopping trips, all-girl dinner parties. So I said, okay, we'll do an all-girl spa night. So we did facials and we did manicures and had homemade pizza. It was really fun. And then we had New Year's Eve and we watched Wicked, which was okay. Had ham for New Year's Day, and then it was like take a deep breath and just settle into the new year. When I was taking Qigong and yoga, we had an instructor who used to tell us that we should follow the waves of the earth. So in winter, we should slow down. We should slow down and be like a bear. Not that we should hibernate, but things should change in our lives. So instead of going for a major jog, maybe how about a brisk walk? And maybe when you wake up in the morning, instead of hopping out of bed, maybe do some stretches and slowly get your body into the day. Maybe instead of doing rigorous exercises, you should do stuff like yoga and Qigong and move slowly. And I thought about that the other night, and I thought, well, that could also be true for the brain, because my brain is so active. It's ridiculous. It's always been that way. But now that I'm not physically active anymore because I'm in the wheelchair, I spend more time at home. It just gives my brain way more opportunity to get me into trouble, you know? So I thought about stuff, and I thought about things that I've changed and things that I should change, and I thought maybe I'd share some of that with you because maybe you'll think, that's not a bad idea. So the first thing, this was like a few years ago, and it's not a big deal. We had a beautiful teak dining room suite in our old house that we'd had given to us for our wedding present in '71. But when we were moving into our new place, which was, as you know, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet, all open plan, no halls, I thought, now I won't have an office. I will no longer have a separate computer room, and I won't have a separate craft room. So it's got to all happen in one room, and that's the dining room. So I sold the table after a lot of thought, and I purchased, think about the early 2000s, the 90s maybe, when oak was all the popular, the oak pedestal tables. I think it was called North American Trading Company or something. They were bringing them in from Taiwan or somewhere. And they were everywhere on the coast. Everybody had them with the big chairs and stuff. My girlfriend found me one, and it was painted cloud white by Benjamin Moore, our favorite white. And that way the kids could use it for crafts, we could use it for painting, we could use it for anything. And if it got beat up, we would just give it a light sand and put another coat of paint on it. And you know what? That has been one of the best decisions. I never worry about that table. And because I don't worry about it, it hardly ever gets beat up. So, I don't know. I'm also thinking I might stop using all my paper napkins. I love paper napkins. I have all my adult life. I love changing the patterns for the seasons. I don't know, it's just something I've always enjoyed. But the other night, when everybody was over and we were having, I don't know, pizza or something, and all my beautiful paper napkins were strewn all over the table, and they'd had a little dab on their mouth and then thrown on the table, and I thought, what a waste. I need to find a non-iron napkin that I can just toss in the wash. That's what I want to do. I mean, I have my white linen ones that I haul out at Christmas. It takes me 2 hours to iron them, but I'm not going to use those every day. They're too much work. I need little work. And I'm done being a ruthless consumer. I want to be a conscientious consumer. So let me give you an example. I get into a panic at the change of season. I don't have enough clothes. Okay, some of you might do that with shoes, whatever, or makeup. Doesn't matter. But for me, it's clothes. And then I go on to, Joe Fresh, Old Navy, Costco, Temu, whatever, looking for clothes. And the only clothes I'm happy with, to be honest, are the ones I get from Costco, because the quality is always good. The rest of them, I don't know. They're just not good. So last year I made a decision. I am not going to be buying clothes online anymore. I'm going to go to my favorite clothing stores on the Sunshine Coast, give them the much needed business, and the lady that owns one of the stores lets me bring stuff home to try on if I want. Instead of buying 6 tops, I'll buy 2 tops that are of really good quality. And yes, I'll pay more for them. But man, I get so upset when I pay money for a top and it pills after 2 or 3 washings, or the colors fade out on the pants after 2 or 3 washings. I mean, it's just because you can't even give them away to a thrift store, because what are they going to do with them? They're not like pristine clothes, and you end up chucking them, which is, I'm not going to do that anymore. I swear I'm not going to do that anymore. Stop me if you see me. So a conscientious consumer is a consumer who thinks carefully about what they're going to purchase before they purchase it, and don't just go madly at buying something. Because I tell you what, after Christmas, when the Boxing Day sales and everything starts happening, it's really, really easy to get into that. Wow, look at this, it's so cheap, I gotta buy it. This year I stopped myself and I made myself really think about what I was going to purchase. It has to be something that I need or something that I desperately want, not just because I need to spend some money because I'm bored. So what I bought this year for myself and my husband is a beautiful bird feed. Start moisturizing all over. We were at HomeSense one day and I saw this rose oil. It smelled so pretty, like it wasn't a real strong smell, and I purchased it, and now when I have a shower, that's what I use on myself. Not on my face, because I use a facial moisturizer for that, but for the rest of my body. Another big change for me, stop chewing my nails. Last year, I got into the habit when I was on that chemo pill. I tell you, it was so embarrassing. I haven't chewed my nails for years, and all of a sudden I just was at it like, oh, no. Another change is to stop stressing and worrying about what others are doing or what others are thinking of you. I worry about everybody, and it's got to stop because it's not healthy. Christmas is over, New Year's is over. I am now going to just take a deep breath, relax, slow down, which, okay, I'm slow anyway because I'm in a wheelchair, but I guess I would say mentally slow down. That's what I did. And guess what happened? My blood pressure's normal. My type 2 diabetes is still high, so I'm still working on that. And for 4 nights in a row, I've slept through the night. For me, and for any of you that are older, that have mobility issues, don't ever go out alone. And I'm not saying about the dangers of life, okay? I'm just saying that if you slip, or if you feel all of a sudden a little bit dizzy, or you feel vulnerable, it's good to have a companion. I mean, if you're in a gated community or something like that, where there are lots of people around, that's one thing. But we live in a rural community, so we're not surrounded by a lot of people. So don't shop for fads, whether it be beauty products or clothing. I'm not saying that you just want to be staid and only wear black or anything like that. But you know, you think back about some of the clothes that you've bought in the past that you've ended up getting rid of, and then all of a sudden they're back in style, and you think, man, I really love that outfit. Why did I even think about that it was going out of style and I needed to replace it? If I love it, keep it. And makeup. Oh my gosh. Guys, have you looked in your makeup drawer lately? Is there stuff in there that you've had for God knows how many years that you bought on a whim? And that gold eyeshadow, another change I made, no more books. And I'll explain. When we moved out of our big family house, we had a huge garage sale. And in that garage sale, I had hundreds of books that I bought over the years, some very recently. Nobody wanted them. And I ended up selling some of those books that cost me $20, $25 each for 10 cents. And when we moved into our new house, I said, we have no room for books. And I bought a Kobo. Best choice I ever made. Because I can make the font bigger. Well, one of the nurses, when I was getting a bone infusion, she looked at me, she says, oh my gosh, she said, if you make that font any bigger, you'll only have like 2 or 3 words on a page. I went, yeah. But it's got a white background, it's lit up, I can read it in dull light, I can read it in the car, I can move it around, it's light enough. I can't read anything with a glossy page anymore, it really bothers my eyes. And I can't read anything with a real small print. Okay, say when it's on.
It's on. It's on now.
Oh, can you see my sweatshirt?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to talk now, okay? This is what we did today. Nothing. A couple of years ago, I was having some really bad problems when I had fallen a couple of times and I had torn the skin, the top of my buttock. It's very thin there. And every time I'd move, that skin would tear more. I had a wound specialist come to check me out all the time. And then I had an occupational therapist come out. Now, this isn't going to apply to everyone, okay? But if you have, or someone in your life has mobility issues, think about having someone come in and just show you how to make life easier. Now, this will be a big change. Our first change was the occupational therapist came in. She said, I want to see you getting in and out of bed. And she said, oh my goodness, Denise, your bed is way too low. Your husband, he's helping you put your legs into bed. He's going to hurt his back and he's going to be no good. And it's not going to be a matter of maybe, it's a matter of how soon. I would like you to get a hospital bed. Couldn't imagine not sleeping in the same bed with him. I have railings I can grab onto when I need to turn myself because I don't have the upper body strength so much to turn myself from back to side or whatever. The hospital bed was a great thing. And at the same time, the occupational therapist came and he showed me a proper recliner that would suit my height. He showed me how to get in and out of the shower properly because we don't have a roll-in shower. He measured me for a new wheelchair, special cushions, a Roho cushion that you put on where you're sitting a lot, whether it be in your wheelchair or my recliner, and it would protect the sores so that I wouldn't get them again after they healed up. Worth his weight in gold, honest to gosh. He was so informative. One of the things that Alan and I decided on doing when we moved into this house was only take the things with us that we love, but I have to say that we also don't have a lot of things that are precious. So that when our grandchildren, and we have 10 of them, come over from little to big, I don't care. We laugh, and the little ones call this a TV house. If they want to watch TV, I don't care. We've got all the crafts here. It sure makes it a lot happier with the grandkids. They are respectful. They're respectful of our stuff. They don't, but you know what? They're the joy. one of the things that keeps me going, giving me the energy to keep going. I don't want them ever to go, oh, do we have to go to Grandma and Grandpa's? There's nothing to do over there. They're so boring. They're so old. Although Elijah does think his grandpa's 100, only because he can count to 100. So changes in our health, changes as we get older. We have to adapt. We have to adapt to those changes as best as we can. Doesn't mean we should lock ourselves up in our house and never see anybody or do anything, but do stuff to what works for you. Just think about that, okay? Think about how you can make your life through these winter months, okay? It's a little different in the spring and summer because you can be outside more. But during these winter months when it's cold, maybe gray and rainy, you have to really take a deep breath, take care of yourself. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any ideas yourself about how you too can make your winter pass in a better way, put it in the comments. Share your ideas, because you might think people don't care, but you know what? They do care. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.